energy efficiency program.
From energy to public health, extreme weather, the economy, and more, Climate Connections makes the global local. Hear it weekdays during the Tom Hartman program and during Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive. Right here on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
It's official. The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath is on WCPT 820.
Reality is right in our face, and we have work to do, and people know it.
The former Lincoln Park alderman and former CEO of the Sun-Times, Edwin Eisendrath,
It's familiar to many of you.
will give his unique spin on the political climate every Saturday afternoon from 1 to 4 p.m.
You won't want to miss that, and I'm going to want to hear from you.
The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath.
Look, this country has Democrats, and it has Republicans, and it has mayors.
Only on WCPT 820.
Of all of the performances you'll experience this holiday season, none will match the thrill of driving a new Porsche. At the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park, our entire lineup is filled with stars. The Cayenne, Macan, Panamera, the 911, and the fully electric Taycan. So why wait? Special order your new Porsche today and get the gift that keeps on giving you goosebumps. Season's greetings from the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Visit 4Porsche.com, the number 4Porsche.com.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Scott Duff here, and with a guest visit from Patty Vasquez, who just popped into the studio. Hello, happy booster shot.
Love you, thank you.
Love you, happy you. There we are. Wow, it's already off to a crazy start. Ellen Miller is off this week. She is celebrating Christmas with her in-laws in Tennessee, or as folks from Tennessee call it, Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah, it's that shorty. The P. And sitting in for her is the wonderful, the amazing, the incredibly talented, gloriously intelligent, gorgeous human being that we all know as Tanya Richard.
I'm so excited. Hello.
Hello. So happy to have you. Tanya, of course, is a regular contributor to Out Chicago. She's also the host and producer of the fabulous podcast, Tanya's Take, Race, Culture, and the Culture of Race. And now she is actually in studio.
Oh my gosh.
And it's the first time that we've seen each other.
I know.
And actually seen each other in
know.
years.
And you are one of my favorite people to ever see ever.
You're one of my favorite people. You know, as we're going to do a quick little ego stroke here, folks, while we're listening. So we're just going to fluff each other's egos. So please
great.
tune in. You know, there we are.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about, I'm like, oh my gosh, how long have I known Tanya?
Right.
And I think it's roughly like 200 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you for me have always been the model of what a working artist should be like. I remember the first time I met you, which would be probably on Belmont and Broadway, right in front of the old Hull House, which is now a gym. Mm-hmm. And we were a part of the early days of About Face Theater.
Yes.
We won't get into that.
And some of my fondest memories.
Yeah, with About Face Theater.
Yeah.
But you were, I would always run into you, and you were like, well, I'm going to Oregon to go do this, and I just did this at Step. I remember all the, and I worked at Steppenwolf, and I was doing all the, and I was like, how, and this was this like incredibly kind and gorgeous human being, and I'm like, how do I get to be this?
Oh my gosh!
So I just want, you've always been in my head of like, this is, like, you are my role model when it comes to being like, this is how a consummate professional behaves and moves through the world. And that's, I just want to say that.
I'm going to spend the rest of this hour crying, or 2 hours.
Good. You can cry for the first hour and then be happy the second hour.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there we are.
And then my turn to return to you. You are combustible joy.
Oh.
I have. Is that good? That's
sure,
good.
That's good.
And it is like, you know how some people you're like, oh, hi. But seeing you, it's like what we did earlier, you are a giant warm hug. And I've just been so thrilled with how you have found your voice and this show that you are responsible for, and the stand-up and the cooking. And do you remember when I was like, make more cooking videos?
Yes, I need to do that.
You do need to do that.
It's just,
I'm sure you've talked about your love of cooking, and Scott is an amazing cook.
Oh, yeah. That'll show up later on in the show.
Oh, that's right.
Actually, we'll continue the ego stroking. Let me tell everybody what's coming up on the show, because I'm so excited. Tanya Richard is in studio with us for both hours. So super duper excited about that. Also, this is our final show of 2021.
Holy cow.
We decided we're going to just knock it out of the park. And we've got some fancy pants folks today for you. So Chicago Opera Theater presents the Chicago premiere of the brand new opera, Becoming Santa Claus. Who knew? A Yuletide Santa opera.
Right?
Because why not?
Santa needs an opera.
Santa needs an opera. I could not think of a more operatic story.
Exactly.
There we are. Yeah, so we're going to be speaking with composer Mark Adamo later on this hour. And as long as we're talking about premieres and artsy-fartsy stuff, usually we're a very fartsy show, but today we're going to be a little bit more artsy.
Excellent.
It's good to have
mostly because
you're here.
Thank you.
But the world premiere of When Harry Met Rehab, a new play by Spike Manton and Harry Tenowitz, is now playing at the Greenhouse Theater Center, and it's a comedy that's based loosely on the real-life experience of Chicago's sports radio personality, Harry Tenowitz. And, pinch me. I'm excited.
Oh, no.
Two stars of the standout ensemble, Dan Butler and Melissa Gilbert, are joining us in the second hour.
I literally can't believe we're going to be speaking to either of them.
I know. Dan Butler, you might remember him from Frasier, Bulldog. I mean, hello, and he played a sports radio person there doing it again.
Amazing. That is such a sign of like an actor who gets a role and is so awesome in it. Like you could not look at what he was doing on that show.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then, of course, Melissa Gilbert, who came into our hearts.
Oh, my God.
As Half Pint.
I mean, seriously.
Laura Ingalls is going to be on the show.
I mean, and you have to wonder. You have to wonder if she's sick of that.
Oh, totally. She must be. But I think she also embraces it. And because a friend of mine who is very involved with PBS in New York just helmed this whole production about life on the prairie. He's a huge Little House on the Prairie fanatic.
Yeah.
Like, Laura Ingalls Wilder just like.
Yeah.
And Melissa Gilbert has been very, very active in terms of like helping preserve her legacy and all that sort of thing.
That's awesome.
I'm going to ask her to call me Manly through the entire
that makes sense.
Show.
That's good. Yeah, because not only is that hats off to Manly, but you also are very manly.
Am I? No, gender is a construct. Come on. Well, you don't know what show you're on. Manly. In
all the ways in which you could be manly.
Whatever. And also just want to give a big old... we're also going to be having the hearty, because I like food.
Yeah, me too.
You know that I like food. You like food.
I enjoy food.
I enjoy cooking. I love to cook. I have. If you want to do a deep dive into the YouTubes, you can look up Scott Duff cooking stuff.
Yeah,
making food.
It's so funny and so good.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a fan.
Thank you very much. Don't play it at work because I swear a lot. Actually, have a friend of mine who's like, I sat down with my child to watch it, and I quickly realized that we should stop. And I'm like, okay, good. Yes, immediately. But we've got the Hardy Boys, Steve McDonough and Dan Smith, who I love. We always have them on this time of year to give us ideas about what to do. We've got the holidays coming up. There's Christmas and the New Year's.
Yes.
What to serve for your holiday table if you're throwing a party.
Wonderful.
Get some ideas. So we've got that going on too. Plus we're going to be doing kind of a year in review, although we don't have enough time because we've got a lot of fancy folks that are coming on. But we would love to hear from you. So give us a call at 773-763-9278. That number again is 773-763-9278. Of course, you can find us on Facebook where we are coming at you live. You can go to Out Chicago Radio and find us there, or you can go to WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, and you can tune in there. And while you're at it, why not follow WCPT on all social media at WCPT 820 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the Tick and the Talks. Tanya Richard, how are you, my friend?
Oh, my goodness. I am well. I am #blessed. That is what I'm going to say.
Blessed.
It's like whatever this year has done, wherever it has taken us, I do really always recognize that I am very, very blessed.
Yeah.
And I'm well. I'm good. My family is healthy. What else can you ask for,
I know. And you got to return to the stage this year, the Goodman Theater stage.
Yes. Schoolgirls. We did it way in July. Which is wild.
It's bananas because it was around, wasn't it supposed to be it was last March of 2020.
Yeah, March 2020. We shut down 3 days before opening. It was devastating. And then, we came back up in July. We were the first show to return to in-person, live, with audience performances. It was a gorgeous, wonderful run.
Blessed.
#blessed.
And then I could only imagine what it was like to be in that room with all of those incredible artists.
Oh, for Schoolgirls?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was such a sisterhood, I don't even I think of them as like my sisters, right? So it's like getting to hang out with your sisters and just like also happen to be doing a hilarious, wonderful play. You know? It was great.
For folks who might not know what we're talking about, so Schoolgirls, or the African Mean Girls play, was at the Goodman Theater, directed by the incomparable Leanne Brown.
Yeah.
And it was
8 Black women on a stage together doing a comedy, not a tragedy.
Not a tragedy.
I mean, it had its, moments
of course.
like, but this is unheard of, in fact,
you mean
right?
A celebration of life?
A celebration of life and joy and comedy. And again, 8 Black women on a stage, all with their own agency, with their own story. It's miraculous. Jocelyn Bio, who wrote it, is a miracle worker, which made me, there's
you
a
mean
connection.
Melissa Gilbert?
Melissa
there
Gilbert,
too? Melissa
Helen
Gilbert
Keller.
She was also in the miracle work. We're kind of nerding out over here.
Such geeks.
We're such geeks.
Such dorks. So it was amazing. Like, hopefully not once in a lifetime, right?
No.
There's more stories.
I think
like
trending.
This.
We're now moving forward.
Right, and Jocelyn's doing that. She's writing like plays for like multifaceted, interesting Black individuals, women, men. It's amazing. She's great.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Fabulous. #blessed.
#blessed.
That's great. And then you get to round out the year here. What? I mean, come on.
I mean, seriously, this is so cool. Like, I've seen you on, the live stream. It also looks different because it's reversed or something. Anyway, that's how that works. But this is this is so fun. This is so cool.
Well, I'm so glad that you're here.
Me too.
There we are. Yeah. I've had, girl, this week was just kind of kooky pants.
Why?
Well, because, it was just it's car trauma.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
And it's trauma, not drama. Just it was just so bad. I went in just for a simple repair. Look out
in the mirror thing.
And then it was like a water pump at a temperature thing. And I'm like, oh, good, right before the holidays.
Exactly.
So it was not cute.
And you believe them.
Well, no. The cool thing about this place is they actually took a video.
Nice.
They're like, hey, we're looking under your car and see where this leak is happening.
That's great.
And it's very true. So it was good that it actually happened.
Right.
This little accident-y poo happened.
Yeah.
But, it
That's
still
no fun.
Doesn't.
We had car stuff going on this week, too, but it's because my husband is incredibly responsible and wants to keep things in tip-top shape. So.
Well, good.
Yeah.
See?
Because, our sunroof broke, and he went and got it fixed, and I would have been like, huh? Like, I would not care. What?
For a second, I thought you said our son, Roof. So I think you have a boy child named Roof.
Because our son, Roof
Because our son, Roof, broke. Like, what did he break? Broke. He just broke? Oh, no.
No, a sunroof.
Yes.
And like for me, if a sunroof breaks, then you're just like, oh, well,
right,
I guess
no
I don't have a
sunroof.
sunroof. Is that the actor mentality?
I
Is that
think
what
so.
it is?
I think so. Well, I think it's just like, how you're brought up, too. I was like, scrappy single mom, who's over here. So it was just like, oh, well.
I know.
There we go.
He's like, don't you want to have a nice working sunroof? I'm like, I guess.
Sure.
But bless him. Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed.
Another way in which I'm hashtag blessed.
That's always.
Always.
Always, always, always. Hey, I feel like we need to talk about this really quickly before we head into break. So the Omicron variant is moving around pretty quickly, kiddos out there. So look, it's a lot right now. I need to pull up this article so I can just make sure that I have all of the information correctly about who this lovely human being was. But look, here's the thing. The best defense that you can have is being vaccinated and even getting a booster. So if you aren't boosted, Patty Vasquez, host of, Driving It Home with Patty Vasquez on this station Monday through Friday from 5 to 6. She's on her way to get her booster right now. She popped in because she was like, I think I left something here, which was awesome. Make sure that you do that and wear a mask.
Yep.
Fortunately, I feel like a lot of people here in Chicago have been really good about wearing masks.
I gotta say, I don't feel like I've come across anyone like where you're supposed to be wearing masks. People wear masks.
Yeah,
I
found that as well. So hopefully, let's just keep that up. But here's the deal. So this Omicron variant is much more infectious. It does not seem that it is more deadly, or that it's not like right angry mutant sort of thing. It is present, and it spreads quickly, but it's not more deadly. So take that into consideration. But also, as you are getting ready to celebrate the holidays, people are traveling, all of that good stuff. Keep your gatherings smaller. This past week was the big holiday party at the Laugh Factory, which is always a hoot and a half.
Yeah.
I opted out of it because there was going to be a lot of people there. Yeah. And a lot of shenanigans and probably not a lot of masks. So I was like, all right, what? I don't need to be there.
Right.
So just really make good choices. And when you're gathering together, make sure people are boosted or vaccinated together, or at least have tested negative within 24 hours.
Right. I love that. I mean, it's funny. When I used to teach at a high school, I used to always say that. Make good choices, like on the Fridays before the weekends.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
And it's like, that's exactly what it is. Individually, we can all make good choices, and then collectively, that can have impact, So it's just like, keep your eyes on your paper, make good choices, which are fairly,
keep your eyes on your paper,
drawn out. And you know what I mean?
Oh,
let's not just... the only thing you can control is what you do, and it's basic. It's those things. Yeah. Vaccination, boosted, wear a mask, do it.
I do it. And, don't spend too long in crazy places where people aren't masked.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that.
No.
Maybe have smaller gatherings, know who's going to be there.
Right. It is not the same, right? Where it's just like, see no one, go nowhere. It's not that.
Yeah, we are not, it's not March 2020.
No.
At all. We have therapies. We know how to treat this disease when people get it. So just be aware, be cautious.
We have therapies, and we also have therapy.
And we have therapy. Oh Lord, do we have therapy? Thank goodness for therapy.
You might want to add that to the list. Why not?
Then go get therapy. Yeah. Just go and trust. It's just. You'll thank me later.
Exactly.
You will thank me later. There we are. Okay, here's the deal. We got to take a quick break. I know we've got so much to talk about.
Yes.
And we might want to get into like the former guy, 45's stuff. I just hate talking about him.
It's just giving him power.
I know, just giving him power. So maybe we'll just talk about West Side Story.
I think so.
Because I know you saw it this week.
We have things to talk about.
We do.
Oh my God. Okay. No.
All right. Yeah. Yep. All right. Hold on to it. Keep it inside. and then share it with the world when we come back after a break. But before we go, this part of Out Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. If you are looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Okay, Tom.
Yes.
He's a trucker.
Okay.
Service-connected, disabled Army veteran. Thank you for your service, Tom. Income, $62,000 a year. Married to Cindy, homemaker with 2 kids, ages 4 and 6.
I love Cindy.
The kids.
Yeah.
They're great. They're a little wild.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, they're a little wild. They need a new home, though. You know, so Tom and Cindy, they were tired of renting from a disconnected and uninterested property owner, and they wanted to purchase a home with a VA loan that Tom earned while serving in the Army.
He deserves that.
He deserves that. So Team Hochberg answered all of Tom and Cindy's questions and helped them secure a VA loan on their new home with no money down.
Whoa.
What? And no VA funding fee due to Tom's service-connected disability and no private mortgage insurance. What?
That's amazing.
That's great. So Team Hochberg has helped thousands of WCPT listeners like Tom and Cindy and their 2 kids, even though whenever they come over, they draw on things.
Well, you just have to keep the sugar away from them.
Yeah, very sugar-oriented.
Right, yeah.
You know, hopefully in their new home.
They have a sugar orientation.
Yes,
Yeah.
just stop. Tom and Cindy, when you move to your new home, thanks to Team Hochberg, pull the sugar away from those kids.
You know, it's start over.
4 and 6.
Right.
A fruit snack.
Exactly.
Give them an apple.
Yeah.
Give them an apple out of the new refrigerator in your new home.
Yeah.
You know, Team Hochberg helps secure financing on new homes, and they would like to help you, but they can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. That number again is 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061. We've got to take a quick break, but when we come back, there is more of the glorious Tanya Burchard. Right here on At Chicago. Bow, crazy, cool.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. In the 1980s, the AIDS crisis killed thousands of Americans in gay communities, and under President Reagan, the epidemic went unaddressed. To raise awareness, the political group ACT UP decided they needed something big to urge the government and the drug companies to take action. This created the form of protest known today as die-ins, where protesters lay on the ground playing dead to show how dangerous things can be if action is not taken. ACT UP's first die-in took place on October 11th, 1988, outside the Food and Drug Administration building. Some protesters held tombstone signs over their bodies with sayings such as, "Dead from lack of drugs," "Victim of FDA red tape," "Killed by the FDA and never had a chance." After the protest, it took the FDA less than a year to approve drugs to help battle the AIDS virus. ACT UP's die-ins continued throughout the country, taking place outside the Center of Disease Control, outside Wall Street, and outside the vacation home of President George Bush. Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
Ad paid for by Open Jar Concepts. Attention, this is an important notice for anyone who has used a Philips CPAP machine or ventilator. In June 2021, the FDA announced that Philips issued a recall affecting nearly 4 million CPAP, BiPAP, and ventilator units. The recall was issued due to health risks associated with the foam utilized for sound reduction, which may degrade over time into harmful chemicals. The Philips CPAP recalled devices can potentially result in injuries including kidney, liver, or heart damage, cancer, or severe skin, ear, nose, or throat inflammation. If you or a loved one used a Philips CPAP, BiPAP, or ventilator and later suffered an injury, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call us now at 800-733-7196. Our experienced attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call us at 800-733-7196. That's 800-733-7196. Again, 800-733-7196.
I'm David Hochberg. It's Sunday. You either recently filed for or are getting ready to file for a divorce. You have questions about your home or purchasing a new home, which is why you should call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. I've been divorced and know how overwhelming divorce can be, but it doesn't have to be that way. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, unless 112-4061.
I'm Honey West. Welcome to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Tanya Richard.
It's me.
Yes, it's you. It's you.
At any moment, we're going to break into a musical, aren't we?
Yeah,
I mean, we already have.
We already have.
I know. Our own original, I should say.
This is the queer show. And as a good ally, you understand.
I fully understand.
You understand.
I understand the assignment. That's a TikTok reference.
Oh.
I'm very fancy.
Oh, yeah. You and Jerry.
He likes it?
He loves the TikTok.
Does he have an account?
No, he just watches for hours on. Like he gets those things where they go like, "Hey, you've been watching too long."
Oh, those are the worst.
Oh, so it's happened to you too.
It happened to me
Confessional
early
Sunday.
on. I am okay. They lure you onto this platform. You're enjoying it, and then there's a freaking video with some person being like, "Okay, time for you to get some water." And why are they trying to drive you off the platform? I don't understand. Why don't they mind their own business?
Because I think they're trying to cover their butts.
Yeah, well.
You know what I mean?
It's just shaming is what it is.
Well, I will join in that shaming.
But you're on it too.
No.
Not at all.
Well, I do. I have an account. I posted one video.
Yeah. I did. I
think of like Chris Hemsworth.
Sure.
Like I was watching some Avengers movie and there he was without his shirt on and I was like, oh, it's a shame that, there we are. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Somehow I got followers.
You'd be funny on TikTok.
Look, here's the deal.
Yeah, you're a busy person.
Well, not even I'm a busy person. It's just the fact, like, this is what I'm wrestling with, you know, in life.
Yeah.
The fact that, you know, in the business that I am in, that we are in,
yes,
you know, one needs to be engaging folks, you know, on social media. And I just
can't be bothered.
I hate it. You know, and not even that I can't be bothered. It's just that I'm scared of what will happen to me. Like I got a little taste of it when like with the cooking videos, like when like people would like, and I'm like, okay, I need to put out more.
I know.
And then what if they don't get as many you know, like that's the whole thing. And I don't want my self-worth to be, you know, judged upon
100%.
How many clicks I get.
Oh, 100%. You know? I mean, it is very hard to, easy to get sucked into
that's the whole thing. That's more about me than any other platform.
I get it.
Thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, real quick, West Side Story. Girl, talk to me. Okay, look, the new version of West Side Story is out. Steven Spielberg directs. Tony Kushner wrote the screenplay.
You know what I realized?
What?
Well, first of all, Steven Spielberg made E.T.
Yeah.
Full stop. So there's that.
Dun,
and
dun,
then Tony Kushner is absolutely one of my...
is E.T.
One of my... Tony Kushner is E.T.
Is E.T.
A lot of
Breaking
people don't
news.
know this.
Yes, they don't know. You thought Deborah Winger was the voice of E.T.
That's right. No,
it was really Tony Kushner.
Tony Kushner.
What? That was all makeup.
Yeah. But he's one of my favorite playwrights. So here's the thing.
Go.
I loved it so much, and I am so conflicted.
Meaning what? I think I'm following you, but on conflicted
because
how?
West Side Story culturally, as you know, this story that was originally created by 4 white men that did not have good representation of the Puerto Rican characters, has caused a lot of harm. It has.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yet this particular production, I was so swept away. I loved every second of it. And so what do you do with that, you know?
Yeah.
I even feel to some degree, to talk about it, I've been seeking what the sort of general consensus is with people who are sort of in direct relationship with that harm that it has caused. And I have not found a lot on it. I am looking. I've been doing a lot of reading from like past things about it.
Okay.
But, I mean, what do you think?
I loved every second of it.
Oh my God.
It was, okay, the original West Side Story, 1961, was a huge movie for me. Of course, as a young homosexual, it was just incredible.
Yeah.
You know.
I loved it.
Rita Moreno. There are moments from that movie that are the original film that are so iconic. There is one moment in the original West Side Story when they're doing America up on the rooftop and Rita Moreno, she's in that purple dress. oh, that purple dress.
Oh my God.
And there's a moment when she's like, the camera catches her and she's sliding up from some Jerome Robbins little like splitty type thing. And she does this expression that's like, ooh. Yep. Iconic, amazing, wonderful. Give her the Oscar right there, and they did. You have like the Jerome Robbins choreography, phenomenal. You know, it was shot on location before, like. In the new adaptation, they actually start out with the letting you know what exactly is happening on the West Side at that moment, where they're tearing down all of these tenements to make way for Lincoln Center.
Lincoln Center.
Lincoln freaking Center.
Right?
You look at what the ultimate of gentrification going on there.
So there's the value. They have made attempts to correct those sins from the past. I am not the one who can actually say whether that has, they've accomplished their goal in terms of reducing harm. I don't know.
I don't know either. But I think, it seemed to me that because in the original one, it was definitely the Jets are the good guys, the Sharks are the bad guys.
And most of the Sharks were white actors with heavy brown makeup on. And,
And let's not forget the most Puerto Rican of all actors, Natalie Wood.
Well, of course. She's a Puerto Rican icon. Wait a minute. And also, did you know Rita Moreno's spoken to the fact that being fully Puerto Rican, they still put brown makeup on her face.
Yep.
Yeah. So, incredible.
So there's a lot of problems with the original one.
Yeah, and the lyrics to I Want to Be in America, which they changed for this version.
Well, they also changed for the original movie version because Rita Moreno says, she's like, I cannot say Puerto Rico, you ugly island.
Oh, doesn't she say it?
Nope.
Oh, what does she say?
She sings, you lovely island of tropical breezes.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
She doesn't, they changed it.
Yeah.
And also, until he passed, Mr. Stephen Sondheim, who wrote the lyrics, was an open critic about West Side Story in terms of the fact that the characters weren't as fleshed out. They were more concerned. The team who wrote the original Broadway show was more concerned about how to fit in the Romeo and Juliet story as opposed to making the Puerto Rican characters three-dimensional and accurate.
The Puerto Rican characters were an afterthought, unfortunately, because as I'm sure you know, they originally were possibly going to do it between like Catholics and Jews.
Yes.
Which is wild. But the point is...
Can you imagine?
No! This is ridiculous.
Like West Side on the Roof? Is that what it would have been?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't want to be a joy kill because truly it brought me such joy.
Same.
And I brought my older child and they loved it so much, and just to see them so immersed and loving it. So I don't know what you say at the end of the day, but I was really moved by it.
I was really moved by it. It was the first time that I've seen a Tony where Maria couldn't kick Tony's butt.
Oh my God, I know, right?
Ansel Elgort was really, really good and very tall.
He is tall.
He is very, very tall.
Well, sometimes you don't know because Hollywood actors are so little.
Yeah.
But he looked decidedly
very
taller.
tall.
And somebody made a reference to his height.
Maria does. Maria talks about how tall he is and everybody talks, and then,
he was great.
He was great. Mike Feist.
Oh.
Who plays Riff.
My God.
I cannot wait to see what else he does because go.
Such a star. Okay, such a star, number one. Number two, I was like riveted by him. Oh my gosh, his performance and the tragedy of spoiler alert, he dies.
What? Wait.
His death scene. What? So.
Oh.
Go ahead.
No, go.
So then I looked up him, right? Of course he was in Newsies.
Of course he was in Newsies.
Of course he was. That's the training ground to be a freaking jet, I think, like boys in the streets dancing.
Totally.
But he was magnificent.
He was so...
Ariana DeBose shot...
Queer woman, too.
Queer woman. Every time towards the end she was doing anything, I was like, get that Oscar, girl. Get that Oscar.
Yeah. I mean, I'm tearing up.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm just like, so I got to go back to Riff.
Yes.
Riff. What an incredible performance.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we're talking about, and also when I first saw him, I'm like, wait, what?
A little bit,
he's
me
like,
too.
Because he was like, I'm
He's
like a
real
little
scrappy,
wiry chicken
wiry,
guy.
that's it, right,
you know,
right,
like, look at me. A little, I don't know, he felt like a little chicken.
A little chicken,
Like,
sure.
look at me.
Yeah.
I'm a yard bird.
Right?
You know, like, that's kind of what he felt like to me. Like, just one of those scrawny roosters.
Yeah.
Just walking around like, And then I'm like, so, like, it was just so good. I've never seen a riff like that. And
Neither have I.
so there's so many things.
Oh my God.
We're talking about just nonsense on our last show.
I mean, it's just,
but so good. But like, I mean, it was the one time too that I actually remembered that Tony was in a gang.
Oh my God, I think that's new.
I think
they
had to be
he was
news.
a jet, but they never said he was in prison.
They never said he was in prison for almost killing somebody. Oh, I mean, you're like, oh, that's right. I mean, we always know that he started the Jets and that he was like, but there was just so like, and the changes that Tony, the updates that Tony Kushner made to the screenplay, small, but I think it provided so much more depth.
I would argue large. I think he really actually did. I mean, there's lengthier scenes, like, and I think he did everything he could, right? And then it's really just about the impact. And that's the tricky part, bringing in my, anti-racism Tanya Takes stuff is like good intentions versus impact. And really the only people I feel that can respond to the impact are folks who were directly affected from the original and the stage play. But I do know the intentions were good.
Well, they actually went to Puerto Rico, Tony Kushner and Steven Spielberg, and went to the university to hold discussions like, all right, let's talk about the problems of West Side Story and what can we do to fix it.
Well, now people will argue. See, this is what I know, again, as sort of an outsider, sort of with my finger on the pulse of the various conversations. So did Jerome Robbins and those other guys. They went to different they were like, tell us about.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, now probably not with the insight or openness or willingness to learn.
Right.
But they did. But here's the thing about them going and talking to folks. I mean, at the core of the issue, again, being a little bit of a downer, is it was still two white men. Why was there nobody on the creative team who is Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Agreed.
So inherently that is a problem, right?
Yeah.
And then, I've been reading stuff about let this narrative die. Literally, there are activists who aren't spending all their time, talking about this, but who are like, let this narrative die. Okay? It was not well told. It does not need to be updated because in that you are still not amplifying Puerto Rican voices. You know what I mean? So it's just like, damn.
It's a tricky.
It's an important conversation.
It is a very important conversation, and I think the changes that they made were really great, especially with the character of there's a very minor character in there named Anybody's. Anybody's in the original production is portrayed as a cisgender woman who is a tomboy.
Yes.
We'll use that phrase, tomboy. It's an outdated term, but as a tomboy who wants to be a member of the Jets.
Yes.
And they are constantly like, come on, girly girl, get out of here, blah, blah, blah. In this iteration, they treat Anybody's as a trans masculine person who uses male pronouns.
Yes.
And it added, the whole time I was like, oh, like I remember when he first popped on the screen, I'm like, wait, that's Anybody's. So great. And the way that, there's so much discussion about why this character was even brought into the play.
Right.
A lot of people think that it was because of Jerome Robbins had a friend who wanted to cast who was a dancer.
Right.
So and there was no spot for her, so they made this character.
Right.
Tony Kushner and Steven Spielberg have come together and they've created this trans character about what it is like for somebody to navigate that space in that body at that time.
Yes.
And I thought it was really, really well done. And, there's a moment in the, and he's given, like a prominent space, there's this whole part where they're they get arrested, they're picked up by Officer Krupke, and there's this moment where they're like, someone misgenders him,
right?
And he screams and like, "I'm not a girl,"
right?
And and gets into this huge fight sort of thing happening, and it's great. And like at the very near the end, when Anita has come to the shop, to send a message to Tony from Maria, and it's a horrible scene. Made even more so this time around when they're, because it's kind of shadowed that they're going to, like, it's a sexual assault, that they're going to rape her. They go for it in this particular movie, and as Anita's coming in and anybody's is leaving, anybody just looks and says, "Leave." I know. That moment was like, oh, and to have the women like Graziella and the other girlfriend, who took part in it before, be shoved out the door and have them trying to get in to save her. That was like, oh.
Yes.
It was great.
So.
Go. Sorry. I'm talking.
Here's my concern.
Yes.
Number one, the way Anybody's is portrayed right now in the film, he is the recipient of a lot of violence and slurs.
Yes.
And so for me, as an ally, I wondered what the experience for a transgender person watching that would be, and whether that would be traumatic. Because this character is being put out there, and they are very unsafe. They are very unsafe. The other thing is, at the end, there's that moment where finally he is accepted by a jet.
Good job, buddy boy.
Good job, buddy boy. Which I think is really problematic in terms of like, so now his identity is co-signed by a cis heterosexual white man, and therefore he now suddenly has value. So that concerned me. I was like, I'm not sure that placement is right. And to be quite honest, I am not sure. I don't think that character could exist as transgender in that climate and stay alive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So those were my concerns.
Cool. Yes. I think I was just so excited that there was actually representation and a way, because we all know that trans folks have been around since the beginning of time.
Absolutely.
And clearly were a part of New York City in 1957.
I do wonder if they would continually put themselves in harm's way that way. Is that the safe place?
Well, according to the actor Iris Mena,
yes,
who portrayed Anybody's, the actor, they said they were given a backstory, and they were able to ask questions. Who themselves, Iris Mena is also gender nonconforming, and they were very vocal. That like, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
But in a way that was constructive and not just to be contrarian.
It's really tough. And I'm getting into the very sort of molecular nuanced part of it, because a lot of the time the answer to something like that is, well, the person involved was given agency and could speak up, but they're still within a construct where they don't have full power. Unless they walk, right? Because ultimately, if there was something that they had issue with that they were going to keep, they could either do it or walk, right? So it becomes that dilemma. I think the last thing that I think about it, though, is what I think anybody has done in the sort of history of musical theater is what a lot of characters can do, which is allow the audience to project themselves onto them. And what I think possibly Anybody's has done for people throughout their lives who have been questioning or knew their, whatever they were grappling with, they could project and identify onto Anybody's. And so I just wonder, now that it's in this incarnation had been made definitive, what that does for people's experience, So that's another one. Like, I wanted to be like, slow clap, right? And there's definitely something about it that makes you want to slow clap. But also there's questions around it. But again, ultimately, I, as a cisgender woman, am not entirely the person to address it, because it doesn't directly impact me. So I would love to hear how it's hitting people who are transgender. You know?
See, and this is why I asked you to be a part of the show, because you always give us something to chew on.
Yeah.
And something to think about.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we need to chew on that thought as we head into a break.
Okay.
Because we soared past our break time.
That was fun.
And it's a good time. But we do need to take a break. And we got to switch gear because it's the holidays.
Yeah.
And we need to talk about Santa. I guess. Santa Claus. And, an opera about becoming Santa Claus. So when we get back, we're going to be speaking with composer Mark Adamo. So please stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
This is Patty Vasquez, and I know this time of year can be stressful. All the decorating, shopping, and spending time with relatives who still believe January 6th was just a peaceful field trip. So to relieve a little stress, I'm teaming up with some great Chicagoland businesses to spread some holiday cheer. Our friends from places like the Gale Street Inn, Des Plaines Theater, Hungry Monkey Baking Company, Consume, and Minocqua Brewing Company, just to name a few, have awesome surprises for you. Tune in to Driving It Home with me, Patty Vasquez, 5 to 6 p.m. through New Year's Eve for your chance to win. Plus, follow WCPT on our Facebook page for extra chances.
I'm David Hochberg. It's Sunday. You're a veteran who served our country and can use a VA loan to either purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, but you don't know who you can trust. Team Hochberg respects your service and has VA loan experts available right now to answer your questions and help you secure a VA loan. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners secure VA loans, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Legal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
Ad paid for by Open Jar Concepts. Attention, this is an important notice for anyone who has used a Philips CPAP machine or ventilator. In June 2021, the FDA announced that Philips issued a recall affecting nearly 4 million CPAP, BiPAP, and ventilator units. The recall was issued due to health risks associated with the foam utilized for sound reduction, which may degrade over time into harmful chemicals. The Philips CPAP recalled devices can potentially result in injuries including kidney, liver, or heart damage, cancer, or severe skin, ear, nose, or throat inflammation. If you or a loved one used a Philips CPAP, BiPAP, or ventilator and later suffered an injury, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call us now at 800-733-7196. Our experienced attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call us at 800-733-7196. That's 800-733-7196. Again, 800-733-7196.
Cancer. So many lives are touched by cancer. In fact, 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer. At the American Cancer Society, we're on a mission to free the world from cancer. It's a big mission, driven by little things like a ride to treatment, a free place to stay, a 24/7 helpline. But these little things are really the big things, because to a cancer patient and their family, they're everything. And every day we reach thousands of cancer patients who so desperately need these services. But we need your help to get these critical services to more people and families in need this holiday season. Go to cancer.org and join the fight against cancer. It takes just minutes to donate and help provide essential support to cancer patients and their families. Don't wait. More than 1 in 3 people will be diagnosed with cancer. Go to cancer.org right now and make a difference. Go to cancer.org.
Molly McCormick. And I'm Danny Parpan. And we're an indie folk group called The Fruit Flies. Welcome back to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Tanya. I almost called you Tanya Roberts.
Tanya Roberts. Tanya Roberts. She was a Charlie's Angel.
She was in Charlie's Angel. She died this year.
Oh, was it this year?
I think it was this year.
Maybe she's here. Maybe she pushed through.
I know. It was like, Tanya Roberts, what the heck is going on? You know, I get the two of you confused so easily. Your work on Charlie's Angels, Beastmaster, and that 70s show was just...
Thank you.
See, I told you, you were my role model for what a consummate professional should be.
An expansive career.
Yes. You were playing tall white women.
It's one of my specialties.
You're really good at it.
It's in my special
skills. I can play tall white women. It's Tanya Richard. or as we like to call her around here, Tanaya Richards.
Tanaya Richards.
Tanaya Richards is my rock. Anyway. I don't know what's happening here. Just letting you, we are having some technical difficulties right now with getting in touch with Mark Adama, so if we get him, we'll pop right on here. But just to let you know, if you were just sitting by your radio going, let's talk about the opera of Santa Claus.
Santa's origin story?
I know.
On.
And well, we'll just give you the info too. It's right now. It's at the Chicago Opera Theater. Today is your final chance to see it, but go support opera. Are you an opera fan?
Yeah. Yes. I love opera. Bill's an opera fan. Bill loves opera. My husband's name is Bill.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah. Not your son, Roof.
No, not our son, Roof, because he's broken.
Roof is broken. Too many operas. That's what it was. The opera just shattered him.
Opera's amazing. I get a little antsy, but it's amazing. Like in the audience.
Oh, to see it live, there's nothing like it.
There really isn't.
Especially when you realize they're not using microphones. Like at the Lyric.
They're not?
No.
What the?
No, at the Lyric, when you go see something at the Lyric Opera, those people are not using microphones.
Okay, that's crazy.
They are singing over an orchestra.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's because of the way the acoustics are set up that they do not have mics.
Holy cow. Opera singers are amazing. They're so I love too how as performers they have their performance schedule, what is it, 3 years out, and have you ever heard that? It's really
Well, I'm not married, but married to somebody who's in the opera world.
You are.
Yeah, so I get a front row seat to all of that.
So it's ridiculous for me to say I don't love opera. Of course I love opera, but I don't avid go and see it all the time or anything like that. But it's amazing.
Because we need to see new operas, which is much like becoming Santa Claus.
I see what you did there.
People who are changing opera, moving things forward.
Yes.
I've been seeing a lot of opera lately.
You have?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not married to a librettist.
Right.
Seen all of his work. Seen,
Jerry is
just some new stuff. Yeah, I know. It's disgusting.
I'm so handsome.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Mm-hmm. He doesn't take the recycling out. How about that?
He doesn't?
There we are. No.
Well, there you go.
No. I was thinking about hiding his Christmas present in the recycling bin because I know he never goes there.
Does he listen?
No. He might be today.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Gary.
What's up?
Yeah, take the recycling out. Okay. Anyway, so this is our last show of 2021. The next couple of weeks on the 26th and on January 2nd, we're going to be doing the best of Out Chicago from 2021. We've got some incredible. We had hashtag blessed year when it came to hashtag blessed year, when it came to talking with people. So we're going to be
how nice. Yeah.
We're going to be revisiting some conversations we've had with Cameron Esposito about how she has changed the comedy world, especially here in Chicago, making it more inclusive for women, non-binary folks, and queer folks in general. We're going to revisit our conversation with Abby McEnany.
I was in Work in Progress. Abby's amazing.
When I only got to see a couple episodes because I don't have showtime.
I was in the first and second season. First season, I was in a meeting kind of situation where
at the house at the party.
No. So she goes to it's not Weight Watchers. It's like a type of weight loss program.
Yeah.
And I was one of the people in the program. And then in the second season, I played her mother's friend at a dinner. And she is the loveliest.
She is a rainbow.
Oh my gosh.
She is a rainbow.
It's really something.
So you can listen to our interview with her.
Yeah.
We're also we're going to be revisiting conversations from the Illinois Holocaust Museum, where they have right now through May is the Rise Up exhibit. It's all about Stonewall.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah. It's if you have it, it's near you too because you're up in Evanston.
Near me, yeah,
you should go check it out. It's I saw the exhibit in Washington D.C. a couple of years ago when it was at the newspaper museum, the Newseum. It's so good. The museum is gone. And
is that what it's called?
It was called the Newseum.
Oh wow!
And it was about the First Amendment. It was.
Wow!
It was the coolest museum, and now it's gone.
Oh my gosh! In Washington,
yeah, in D.C. It's like. Because there's so many cool things.
I love Washington. We love going.
Yeah, it's just great.
Yeah.
I always feel strange, bizarrely, old-fashioned Republican patriotic when I go to D.C.
That's interesting.
And the Olympics. I always get very, very nationalistic. It's
really?
Yep.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I guess I've never, it's like the last time we were there, I wasn't quite as immersed in this work, and I wonder, is the anti-racism work, I wonder if I went now, whether I'd be way more, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it'd be really cool. I still want to go to there are a bunch of museums that I haven't been to there. But like the African American History Museum,
yeah,
I've
no
not
question,
because you couldn't get in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and also there is just something to it. Like whatever it means, I'm still an American. You go there. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
It's very weird. I'm kind of like I get very, very proud, but I also get very. I'm like, oh, we have so much work to do.
I know.
So much work to do.
I know.
Yeah, and I think this year has kind of just reinforced the amount of work that we need to do.
That's right.
I mean, there's been some advancements. Maybe.
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, get back to you. I mean,
I don't know.
We have the first openly trans member elected to, as the Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We have the first openly gay cabinet member,
right,
with Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
Yes.
We have the first openly gay woman of color as a part of the White House communication staff.
Yes.
Haitian.
She's Haitian.
Oh, yeah. Look at those eyes.
I know.
Hello, my people.
I know.
Yeah. So it's one of those I think there are things, but of course, we're still fighting for equality and for rights.
Yeah.
I say this often, and I'm still so confused, and hopefully maybe 2022 will bring some more clarity. But when it comes to this new GOP, and I'm calling it the new GOP because it's like whatever the Republican Party was when we were growing up or whatever, it has changed dramatically. And I don't. The only thing that I see what they stand for is for greed and power. And for just their own thing.
When you separate it out, you mean?
Yeah.
Well,
just when it comes down to it, and I still don't understand to what end. What is their end goal? When we're looking at progressive causes, when we're looking at folks who are dedicating their lives to equity and inclusion, when it comes either to race or sexual orientation or gender expression or, whatever it is, we're trying to give more people a seat at the table, just so that we can all, because we the United States, we are all here together to say something.
I don't know what their end game is, but I do know what drives them, which is fear.
Oh, I know what should totally.
Right?
And at the beginning, years ago, when marriage equality was passed, I tried to come from a place of compassion in such a huge place because I'm like, everything that these people believed was true, the floor just dropped out from underneath them. So I'm like, all right, they're going to be reacting with anger and fear for a little bit, and we need to give them compassion because to understand, everything you knew is different. But now they are still in that anger and things. So for 2022, I'm hoping that we're able to, really, I hope they clarify it and let me know exactly what they're standing for because I only know what they're standing against. And on that note, we need to take a quick break. And when we come back, it is the thrilling second hour of Out Chicago right here on WCPT. So stick around.
The David Pakman Show.
Anecdotally, people have written to me and they've said, listen, David, my employer claims to be hiring. The companies are listing jobs in order to placate the workers they have. We're hiring, but really it's to keep the existing employees doing the jobs of 1.5 or 2 people calm as they continue to do way more work than they normally would.
The David Pakman Show, weekday evenings at 10 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech. Save big on the latest computers featuring Windows 11 Pro that easily automate workflows. Don't forget to shop servers, storage, and top-brand electronics with savings up to 45% and all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor to help you transform your digital workspaces with comprehensive end-to-end solutions. Find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
The history of Air America lives here. This is WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
NBC News Radio, I'm Dina Kodiak. Senator Joe Manchin says he will not vote for President Biden's Build Back Better bill.
If I can't go home and explain it to the people of West Virginia, I can't vote for it. And I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation.
Appearing on Fox News Sunday, the West Virginia Democrat said that he tried, quote, everything humanly possible to work with the legislation. The announcement effectively killed the White House's top legislative priority. Manchin cited several concerns as his main reasons for saying no to Build Back Better.
The inflation, it's not transitory, it's real, it's harming every West Virginian. Then you have the debt that we're carrying at $29 trillion. You have the COVID variant.
He also said his opposition to the bill should not come as a big surprise to the president. Dr. Anthony Fauci is admitting scientists didn't see the level of possible COVID-19 mutations coming. Appearing on NBC's Meet the Press, the White House chief medical advisor reacted to a recent quote from Vice President Harris saying scientists didn't anticipate the Delta or Omicron variants. Fauci explained that scientists expected to see COVID variants but did not foresee the extent of possible mutations. He called the 50 mutations seen in Omicron unprecedented. The death toll from last weekend's tornado outbreak in Kentucky is up to 78. Governor Andy Beshear said Saturday that everyone reported missing had been accounted for.
Right now, missing persons based on this tornado event are at 0. Again, those are we calculate those based on people who are reported as missing. But right now, it is down to 0.
He said this is a piece of good news in what has otherwise been an almost unimaginable tragedy. The overall death toll across several states in the southeast and central U.S. is at least 92. Former Senator Johnny Isakson is dead at the age of 76. Family members say the Georgia Republican passed away overnight on December 19th. He's best known for legislation including the No Child Left Behind Act. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive on WCPT Willow Springs is powered by ComEd. Lower your energy bills and reduce your carbon footprint with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
There is truth and there are lies. Lies told for power and for profit. And each of us has a duty and a responsibility as citizens, as Americans, to defend the truth and defeat the lies.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Amy Goodman reports on the news stories rarely covered by the corporate media.
In Chile, security forces shot dead 2 indigenous Mapuche leaders during clashes in the province of Arauco. The southern coastal region has been under a state of emergency, with the Chilean government deploying 2,000 soldiers to the region as it attempts to suppress the Mapuche community in their fight to recover their ancestral lands.
Democracy Now!, weekday evenings at 11 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Of all of the performances you'll experience this holiday season, none will match the thrill of driving a new Porsche. At the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park, our entire lineup is filled with stars. The Cayenne, Macan, Panamera, the 911, and the fully electric Taycan. So why wait? Special order your new Porsche today and get the gift that keeps on giving you goosebumps. Season's greetings from the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Visit 4Porsche.com, the number 4Porsche.com.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with the incredible, amazing, luminous Tanya Richard, who is not Tanya Roberts.
No.
I don't know why. I've known you for 200 years.
She doesn't
and I
even
keep
spell her name like I spell
at all. But, you know, Tanya Richard is here filling in for Ellen Miller, who is with her in-laws in Tennessee celebrating an early Christmas. So we want to wish her a happy holiday season.
Ellen.
Hi, Ellen and Sweetie. Her wife.
Oh.
There we are. So we'll do that. But hey, today we've got an incredible second hour lined up for you. You know, we're a food show. Even though on the radio we love to food, I love to eat. We love to food.
We love to food.
I've now turned it into a verb. I'm going to be fooding today.
Hashtag food.
Hashtag food all the time. And we're going to be speaking with the first winners of Food Network's
cool.
the Food Network star,
right.
the Hardy Boys.
Love it.
Yeah, Steve McDonough and Dan Smith. They're going to be coming on. We're going to talk about like how to, because we're gay. This is the gayest thing on the planet. Because I'm like, look, we need to have a party. We need to have a good table, and what's going to be served.
Right.
We need that.
Period.
Period.
That's the point.
With the T.
With the T.
With the T. There we are. So we're going to be speaking with them. But before we do that, we're going to be speaking with another Dan and a Melissa, which I'm trying not to be a stupid, dumb head right now.
I'm taking a big breath.
I'm taking a big breath, too. They're just people. They're just people who shaped and informed our culture and our lives. So anyway, When Harry Met Rehab, it's a brand new show. It's now playing at the Greenhouse Theater Center. It chronicles in a humorous yet poignant way of how Harry, an alcoholic on the edge of clueless annihilation, ended up in the hands of 4 imperfect strangers who caught him every time he stumbled, and a magician whose greatest trick was to make his denial and excuses disappear. All about dealing with addiction. And joining us today are 2 of the stars of the show, of this incredibly talented ensemble, the one and only Dan Butler and Melissa Gilbert. Dan and Melissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi there. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just off the top, I might burst into tears at any second just from talking with both of you. Just there we are. Huge fans. Huge. There we are. So,
thank you.
There he is. No, thank you. Okay, there we are. So, sorry.
This will not be your best interview.
This will not be your best interview. You're like, what the hell am I doing here?
We
this is
will
ridiculous.
promote the show, I promise.
So the show is When Harry Met Rehab. Dan, you play Harry. Can you let our folks know a little bit about what the show is about and how the show came to you?
Wow. Okay. It is an amazing show. I feel so grateful to be a part of it. It's one of those things that the stars sort of aligned when you get a great cast and you work really hard on new material, and it all comes together. I hear we've gotten excellent reviews. I don't read reviews until a show is over, but it's adapted from or inspired by a true life incident. Harry Tynowitz, who's a Chicago celebrity, was a sports radio announcer. About 10 years ago, had a very public DUI. And to save his job and avoid going to jail or court, he went to 8 weeks of rehab for alcohol addiction. And it's really chronicles that time. And I did a reading of this earlier this year over Zoom with my friend Jackson Gay, who beautifully directed the show. And sort of out of nowhere, I didn't think anything was going to come of it for me. I knew she was here auditioning, and she called up right after I had a rotator cuff surgery and said, while you're healing, you want to come be in another rehab in this show. So it was a gift, and it's turned out to be an even greater gift working with Melissa and this incredible cast. Chike Johnson, Elizabeth Laidlaw, Jonathan. I always mess up Jonathan's last name, Melissa.
Oliveris.
Thank you. And Keith D. Gallagher. Thank you so much.
Good job.
Now I will. I'll shrink away into the shadows.
No, one of the things that I love, I'm going to ask, why Chicago? Of course, that kind of, just makes sense because, of course, Tynowitz was a radio personality here in Chicago, and one of the things that I'm so happy that you named all of your fellow cast members, because one thing that I always associate with Chicago theater is the ensemble ethic. And you've got a powerhouse of a cast. Like, holy smokes. It's really incredible. So Melissa, how did you get involved with this particular script? And then, I don't know if y'all are involved in producing, but why Chicago, of all places, to present the world premiere of this brand new work, When Harry Met Rehab?
Well, I think I can answer both questions for you with the answer to one question. The producer of the play is a man named Don Clark, who my husband and I know as he was the financier of an independent feature film that we did with Jeff Daniels a couple of years ago, and we became friends then. And apparently there was another actor cast in my role, and the schedules didn't align, and she had to drop out. And so Dawn called me. I was in Texas visiting the newest grandchild. And Dawn called me and said, would you consider coming up and playing this role? And I read it and said, yeah, okay, let's do it. And so my husband had just been here directing an episode of Chicago Med, so we kind of turned around and came right back. And I think the why Chicago is pretty clear. Don Clark is a Chicago local native. Harry Tynowitz and Spike Manton are Chicago locals, and the show is set in Chicago. So the best place to premiere a Chicago-based show about Chicago people is Chicago.
Well, look at that.
Here we are.
Look at all those dots connecting right there.
So good.
Yeah. So as you are working, because this is, it's a new work. Both Tanya and I have worked on developing new plays. It's a different kind of beast as you are in the rehearsal process, especially when you're dealing with something that is semi-autobiographical, like of a well-known figure like Harry Tynowitz. So what was the process like for both of you as you're creating this brand new work, also during a pandemic, there's that to layer into it. What was the process like for both of you?
Well, go ahead, Melissa. You dive in.
I was going to let you go. Oh, here we go. We're gonna be like Chip and Dale this morning. No, you. No.
After you. No, after you.
No, after you. I was going to say
have the same sensibility about it, that we're both so clued into not only the literal recovery that is talked about in the play, but it just feels like we're all in need of some recovery of just how to be around each other again as human beings, and how to recover from anger, or recover from road rage, or recover from just how to be around people again.
That is a good answer. I think there's something to be said about the types of plays happening after everything we've experienced. And it seems like this would be the type of play I would want to, hear this conversation. Yeah, for sure.
It's really interesting navigating the COVID of it, too.
Yeah.
During rehearsal, we're tested now that the city's gone back up to red. It was at yellow when we were in rehearsal, the COVID, warning level. Now that we're red, we're tested 3 times a week. The actors are unmasked on stage. We were masked in the rehearsal, in the theater for rehearsal, unless we were on the stage. Everyone else was masked. A lot of hand washing, and keeping track. And thus far, I'm tapping wood, there's been no positives. We just tested again today. Our audiences have to have proof of vaccination and have to remain masked through the entire show unless they're sipping their drink or taking a bite of whatever snack they have. And there's no intermission. There's no gathering after. There's no hovering around. Everybody kind of goes home and just comes in for about an hour and 26 minutes of a lot of laughter, a little bit of tears, and maybe some knowledge, about a window into other people and themselves. Because, like Dan said, we are all in recovery. We're recovering from the last couple of years, and it's going to be a long, slow recovery. But the great news is our theaters are super COVID safe, so that's great.
Yeah, Dan, did you want to chime in?
Well, you were talking about the process of it. It's been really exciting. I love, one of my greatest loves is working on a new piece that no one's had their fingerprints on yet. And we're finding out the path, we're forging the first trail. And Lloyd Richards, a very famous director from Yale, years ago talked about the stages you go through where you get to the point where the director knows the play better than the writers, and then it comes to a point where, if all goes well, the actors know better than the writers and the director, and you're collaborating at the same time, hearing not only the sound of, what needs to be said here, what might be repeated that can be cut, and what's the sound not only the music of my character, but the music of the piece, and how do I fit into that, and how do we all come together to best give the message of this play. And it's joyful. I mean, the audiences have been great, and we just want to do it more with more people coming.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and it does seem, and again, I kind of knew the answer when I asked why Chicago, because, just knowing the Chicago theater community and the work ethic and just the ethos behind it, it really is to come to serve the purpose of the play. Like, we all the ensemble members come together, like, what is the story that we are all telling? And it sounds like, what a luxury to be able to come and to try out a new work in a city that the play takes place in, and just to be steeped in this history, to be able to forge this path, as you were saying, Dan, about this incredible story. So how wonderful is that? It's great.
I have a question for the both of you. Is it every single day that you are in some way interacting with the iconic presence that you've had in culture, whether it be the wonderful character that you played on Frasier, Dan, and of course Melissa Gilbert, and your long and wonderful career? Is it every day that you are encountering it in some way, and how does that sort of play into your life?
That's interesting. I'll jump in first. I fully embrace and appreciate everything that's come from my association with Little House on the Prairie, and and I honor it on a regular basis. It was my whole childhood. It wasn't just a job; it was where I grew up.
Yeah.
And I tell people I didn't go to school in the 1970s. I went to school in the 1870s.
Wow.
And so I'm, and that's very much a part of who I am. And I also understand the value of it. And there's a reason why the word prairie is in the title of every book I write. Right? And it also influenced me so much so to the point of where my book that I have coming out is all about how during the pandemic, I went back to what I knew from working on a show that was set in the 1800s, and my husband and I converted a cabin in the Catskills into a home with chickens and a garden.
Oh my gosh!
That I always wanted to do. So it's very much, that part is very much in me, and the people's appreciation for Little House on the Prairie, some almost 50 years since the premiere, we're coming up on in a couple of years, is something that I will always be grateful for and never gets old.
That's wonderful. How about with you, Dan? Just in particular, because that character was so distinctive, and I'm sure you may have similarities, but also not. So how do you engage with that?
Yeah, I was sort of inspired originally. I just sort of lampooned the way my dad used to get angry. 0 to 100, and then it would go away. It came into my life where I needed to be reminded to have fun and to reconnect with the joy of what we do naturally, and I've done since I was a kid. I, as a younger actor, would get so absorbed by making everything important and a struggle and dramatic, and there's just something about being reminded that laughter is one of the greatest gifts anyone could give anyone. And I have been so blessed with people coming up to me and not only remembering the character and stuff like that. I'm surprised that they recognize me now, but that they, many times they've come up and said, I was going through a horrible time in my life, or I was with my father who was dying of cancer, and we would come together and watch the show and laugh together. So I just got to thank you for that. And I am so humbled by this, but it's the power of, it was a great show and great writing and wonderful actors on it, but that, again, it was one of those times where who knows how this happened, but the stars sort of aligned.
Yeah.
and you go, oh, this is a success, and how I'm so grateful that I was able to be a part of that and make people laugh. It's great.
Well, you not only made people laugh, Dan Butler. I'm crying now because that's what I do. But you were an inspiration and a role model. You came out publicly while still on the show, and as I'm trying not to, but as an actor myself, I was just starting out and trying to navigate that whole thing. You really were showing me like here are the possibilities. And there was just the pride and just the openness was really, really, was really impactful. It was really impactful. Oh, okay. So thank you so much for your bravery and your courage, being so open, throughout your career. It's great. And I still,
it's really powerful.
And because of you, I now say "Cool," because of Silence of the Lambs, and I hate you for that, So there's that. Okay. I'm gathering myself together right there. And I also want to, Melissa, we've got a crazy connection. Years ago, you did a production of Love Letters with John Dye, he is the brother of my partner of 18 years. So it's just one of those. Yeah. So when I was
my gosh.
I know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get Melissa Gilbert. She's like, oh, tell her I said hello. So, and you're directed by Josie Helming, who is one of his mentors. So it's just one of those little moments of connection. And I was just like, oh, just want to know you, and Melissa, I can't even begin to tell you also like what impact you have made on. I mean, this. You were talking about it earlier about how people come up to you all the time, and you're grateful. But you helped shape a generation to show, what kindness and determination. I mean, for God's sake, you just converted a cabin, and now you got chickens. But come on,
when is that book? Is that book out?
When's it coming out?
No, the book's coming out in May 10th, actually, of 2022.
Okay.
And thank you. And I would love to be able to, in any way, shape, or form, take credit for that. But as, a child and not a producer and not involved in the creating of Little House on the Prairie, I have to give all of that to Michael Landon.
Of course.
I will go beyond that, and it's very gracious of you, of course, to say that. But I will go beyond that in terms of like, you captured my imagination and continue to. And I actually feel strangely, and don't be scared, aware of your path as a performer and an actor, and actually admire many of your performances. Yeah. Including one that I can't think of the title, but you played a nun who was kidnapped, I think. But I just remember watching you on that show, knowing you came from Little House on the Prairie and being like, oh, she's a really good actress. Not that, we knew that then, but just to see your career and how it developed. And I have been and continue to be a fan.
Thank you very much. And that movie was called Choices of the Heart.
Oh, that was it. That was such a good movie. I love that movie.
That one I did produce, so I will take credit for being involved in the creation.
Wonderful.
Right on. But again, and you, of course, you served as the president of the Screen Actors Guild.
Yes.
For many years, and so you were continuing to do the good work, and now you are both in Chicago doing good work, bringing joy and self-examination and a little bit of therapy for all of us, and recovery that we all need right now in the brand new play, When Harry Met Rehab. It's by Spike Manton and Harry Tynowitz. It's now playing at the Greenhouse Theater Center through January 30th. Do yourself a treat, this holiday season. Get yourself give a gift to yourself of theater, of going to support new work, live performances, and a little bit of recovery.
Yeah.
Which we are all.
And it's a great time. It's a great time at the theater.
Oh, yeah. The reviews have been great. They're like, it's hilarious, tight script. And again, they cannot say enough about the ensemble of actors. So thank you for the gift that you're giving us here in Chicago this holiday season and into the new year. Again, When Harry Met Rehab runs through the Greenhouse Theater Center. Runs just running through. They're just driving a car right on. They're doing it real fast. It's on roller skates. It's called Starlight Harry Met Rehab. No, when Harry Met Rehab is at the Great House Theater Center through January 30th. For more information and for tickets, head to whenharrymetrehab.com. My biggest thanks to, of course, Bulldog and Half Pint. I had to sneak that in there. I'm so sorry. I apologize, but not really. Dan Butler, Melissa Gilbert, thank you so much for taking time out today. Have a great matinee today.
Yeah.
And both of you have a wonderful, and keep doing the work that you are both doing, inspiring folks, telling stories, and have a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you too.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to cry through the next break, tears of joy. And when we come back, we're going to be speaking with Steve McDonough and Dan Smith of the Hardy Boys. So please stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
Hey, yeah, how's it going?
Word of mouth has Dante's dental clinic thriving.
17 new patients? Nice. Is this next month's calendar?
But he needs another dentist to give his schedule a good cleaning.
This is this week? You're kidding. Oh, you're not.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. In 1954, Brown v. the Board of Education was the famous Supreme Court case that ended racial segregation in schools. However, this was not the first case on the issue. When Mexican labor workers came to work the citrus groves of Southern California, Californians began to enforce their own de facto segregation, even in the school systems. 80% of Mexican-American children were placed into Mexican schools, as the California Board of Education called it. The Mexican-American schools were terrible, having poor classroom conditions, shorter school days, and only being taught how to speak English. In 1944, parent Gonzalo Mendez insisted that not only his children, but all Mexican-American students be given a quality of education equal to their Anglo neighbors. But the school board refused to change, and Gonzalo and 4 others filed a lawsuit. In 1946, the case was heard by a judge who ruled in favor of Mendez, saying, "School must be open to all children by unified school association, regardless of lineage, ending segregation in California schools for all students of color." Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
Individual results may vary. There's no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Invest wisely.
I want to talk to you about cryptocurrency. Did you know that if you invested $10 in Bitcoin in 2010, it would be worth over $400,000 in January 2021? Crypto could represent the future of money, but it can be intimidating. And what about taxes? Well, with an Alto Crypto IRA, you can trade crypto like Bitcoin and avoid or defer the taxes. You can create an account in just minutes and invest with as little as $10 with no setup charges and no account fees. There are over 80 coins available, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. Make a cash contribution or transfer cash from an existing IRA. Invest just $10 today. Who knows what it could be worth in 10 years? Ready to take your investments to the next level? Diversify like the pros and trade without tax headaches. Open an Alto Crypto IRA with as little as $10. Just go to altoira.com/start. That's ALTOIRA.com/start. Start investing in cryptocurrency today. Go to altoira.com/START.
Welcome back. I'm writer and activist Stacey Anshin. You are listening to Out Chicago on WCPT 820.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Tanya Burchard. As we roll along, still trying to recover from the fact that I spoke with Half Pint.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so dumb.
No, you're not.
I know. I know. I'm just one of those weird, I get very, very strange about celebrity.
Well, there are certain ones. It's like...
But for me, it's always the weird ones.
Sure.
It's not weird.
Exactly.
Not weird, but like the people that are kind of like over here.
But also, it's like I've literally known Melissa Gilbert my entire life.
Yeah, same. Same. I don't know how many, kids were called Half Pint by their parents.
Yeah, right? And, so what a cool thing.
Yes. Sorry. I'm just trying to like breathe through. Also, as we're again experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties.
We're vamping.
We're vamping right now. Trying to get a hold of the Hardy Boys. So do you have big plans for the holidays?
We will be home. We will be gathered, and Real simple, but just love the fact that more family can be involved. Because last year was so, was very immediate family, Big meal. It'll be good. What about you?
You know, we're keeping it low. We're keeping it a low profile this year.
Yeah.
Same thing as last year. We're staying in town. We're just gathering with our chosen family.
Yeah.
With our chosen family and their kids.
Nice.
So it'll be kind of
Will you be cooking?
Yes. Yes, I will be cooking. Okay. Well, here's the thing. So I've got my survival job that I'm doing right now, and so right now I'm actually scheduled to work on the Christmas Eve. But hopefully I'll be able to get off in time to cook. But I don't think I'll be able to do that. But if I do need to cook, I know I am going to be looking to need some inspiration for everything, and because the holiday season, it's here.
Yeah.
It's coming up, and it's time for tasty treats and nibblies. So I'm going to be, I need some help to keep the Yuletide gay. So that means talking to the Hardy Boys. And I know we've got at least one of the Hardy Boys on the phone right now. Dan Smith. Dan, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. We are at our house in Michigan.
Fantastic.
Kind of getting ready for the holiday because we're spending the holiday in Michigan this year.
Oh, really? Okay. Doing that remote thing going on.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. So what do you, I love having you guys on the show. And we just got Steve too. Steve, hello, welcome.
Hello.
We've got everybody. Yay! All the Hardy Boys are here.
It's a Christmas miracle.
It is a Christmas miracle on the 19th.
I feel like I'm supposed to apologize for not being half pint.
No. Never apologize for not being half pint.
There's only one.
And also in my mind, you're a full pint.
No.
This is like the glass totally full.
Did you see what he did?
Not half, totally full.
I did. I think that was a fat joke.
If I showed some of the text messages that you sent to me, I will. There we are.
Okay, that sounds very suspect.
Anyway, it's very suspect. Well, just keep everybody guessing. That's what it's saying. But I'm so happy that you guys are on because I've loved your food. I remember actually back in the early days of About Face Theater, we'd have Hardy Boys at all the openings and all this stuff. You of course went on to Food Network, and now you have this incredible business. You always had this incredible business. It's still going strong, and you are my go-to food guys to what do I make to celebrate, to make things feel fancy in a time when we need fanciness.
We do need fanciness. Dan, what are we going to do this New Year's? You want to hear about fancy?
Yes, come on, fancy.
Bring it.
Let me say, first of all, that fancy is a relative term, right? So,
right.
Some people, salmon might be fancy. I am not one of those people. So, to me, fancy is, for New Year's Eve, for example, this year, I'm doing a rack of lamb. I'm going to grill it with a little garlic and ginger. I'm going to do it over an ancient grains porridge with a Madagascar green peppercorn sauce, and also with a pomegranate crunch. Crunches are really they're hot right now.
So where in Michigan are you right now? Because Tanya and I will be right over.
Wow.
Are you coming?
Yes, we're coming over. Wait, okay, talk to me about this ancient grain porridge. What?
Yeah. So porridge, which, we hear about that in nursery rhymes, right? And you think, what the hell is porridge? It's a mix of grains. I like to use quinoa. I like to use farro, some type of a rice. Generally, I use 3 different kinds of grains, and then I go to town with it with a lot of butter and heavy cream and fresh herbs and spices, and it just makes this really lovely, creamy base for any kind of red meat, especially.
Yeah.
Wow. And now I'm going to cry.
I know. That's all. That sounds really wonderful. And it also sounds a little like rustic, although the crunch that's where we're going to elevate and throw in our fancy. Right? What do you mean when you were saying that a crunch is now all the rage?
Yeah, they really are. It's typically seen in mortgage. There's a chili crunch. And generally, I use freeze-dried either fruit or vegetable, and it's all suspended in an oil base, so it never gets soft or soggy, which is what some kind of a water would do to it. And you can add anything you want to it. You can add spices to it, and you add it to a dish as a component or a topping, and it just adds this pop to it. It adds this different texture to it that is just really, and this intense flavor to it that puts the dish over the top.
So like a crispy gremolata kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Have you not had them before, Scott?
No, I know I have, but I mean, look, I'm playing. I have had crunches. I know these things. I'm just trying to, maybe our listeners don't know exactly what a crunch is. That's what I'm.
I sure didn't. It was very helpful for me. Thank you.
So, okay, so
it just sounds like the kind of thing that Scott would be making at home on a Thursday, as Jerry is hiding in the other room.
Yes. Yes, this is true. I would love to make a crunch going on there. So, okay, so what if people tend to be intimidated? I know it kind of boggles my mind, but I forget that I'm just a weirdo and I love to cook and I love cooking, and I think it just is, it's my love language. Like when people come over, I turn into like any grandma. I'm like, eat, that whole thing. So, it kind of blows my mind when people are like, grilled lamb, and they're like, whoa. So people can get intimidated really easily. What about if someone who wants to make something special, either for Christmas or for New Year's coming up, that, they're a little cautious or like a little wary of their skills or degree of difficulty? What are some simple ideas for folks to, if they want to impress and make that fancy, without feeling like, oh no, this is horrible, too intimidating?
I would say, first of all, is something that you're comfortable with.
This is my life.
Don't go over the top with something that is going to really intimidate you. So, I mentioned salmon before. Salmon can be a fairly easy thing to make, but then, bump it up with some kind of, like I said, a crunch before, or bump it up with some kind of cool relish or something like that. But your main thing that's on your plate, your protein or whatever you're going to choose something that you're more comfortable making so that you're not, really stressing yourself out.
Yeah, so it's if you know your way around a chicken, then go for the chicken, and then maybe find
exactly.
Yeah, some tapenade or some fancy, some fun sauce that you can do.
A fancy spice blend in the spice aisle that you can rub onto the chicken. So then you've got like a garam masala chicken. All of a sudden you've got something that's different. It's not just your everyday chicken.
That's good advice.
Find that hook.
Yeah.
I think it's also a bit of finding things that can be pre-made along with it. Take a little bit from Miss Sandra Lee, give her a little zhuzh. So, for
Aunt
example,
Sandy.
when Dan does, well, she's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, no.
Broad. She's fun.
Yeah, no, I know that. That was something with love.
For his salmon, for example, we were doing frequently a salmon Wellington, which is like a beef Wellington, but the salmon with a leek mixture wrapped around it, all in puff pastry. But if you are purchasing puff pastry, you can kind of put this together kind of easily. You can find some elements and then you put in your own work, but let other people kind of help you with some of it.
Absolutely. And I know. I'm sitting up I've got puff pastry in my freezer right now.
Amazing. Bill, you're listening. That would be good, honey.
And then when it comes to doing pre-order stuff too, I'm sure Hardy Boys, are you all offering some incredible stuff doing it? I know last year you were very, very busy because the holidays were a little bit different. We were definitely in lockdown, more in lockdown and in close quarters. And, are you offering up some stuff that if people are like, you know what, cooking is intimidating, but I want something special and meaningful that is gonna be delicious, I would turn to Hardy Boys. What's on the menu, or what have you got offered up for the holidays?
I got to tell you, Scott, we have just come through 6 months of doing 2 years worth of weddings.
Oh,
whoa.
Wow!
Yeah. So it just kind of petered out last night. So I am prone on my couch at the moment. But yeah, contact Hardy Boys and we'll put something together for you if you like. We don't have a specific menu out there for Christmas or New Year's, but we're always open to help people out. And that being said, my wheelhouse is pretty large, so give us a call.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Hardy Boys food is so darn tasty and everything.
Goodness.
And maybe you should just let them have a break right now, because I bet you've been really busy with everybody had to postpone things, and then we had that brief window.
I know, right?
So 2 years of weddings in 6 months. Wow.
Yeah, and that's no lie. I'm not exaggerating on that. We've done 2 years worth of weddings.
Oh my God. Well, then don't order from Hardy Boys until at least January. Let them sit down and have a break. And actually, go ahead. Yep.
Call me and make something for me. That's what I'm telling you.
There you go. But there's also, I know on the website of at Hardy Boys, hardyboys.com, you do have occasionally share some recipes. So there's a little bit of a blog. So if you want some ideas and inspiration, definitely do that.
Well, you know where else we're doing that?
Where?
On my new podcast.
Oh, that's right, Steve. You've got a new podcast. Tell me all about it.
Why, thank you for asking, Scott. I just started a new food podcast, but not with Dan, with a buddy of mine from Food Network. His name is Hans Rufert. He was on Food Network Star with us. He's a fascinating character. He's a chef from Georgia. Right after we did Food Network Star, he was diagnosed with cancer, stomach cancer. Oh. So he's a chef without a stomach.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, and he is smart as hell, and he is he's very much like a farmer, and so he grows his own figs and has his own turkeys, and has this great focus, just a great kind of attitude, and his eyes towards food are different than mine. And we have a food cast called But I Digest, and it is just
stop it.
Goofy, yeah, it's just goofy stuff with. We'll take one specific food item, and he will kind of get geeky with it, and then I will take something so completely random and bring the whole show off the rails and talk about something completely barely connected to it, and then it comes back around, and he does a food recipe based on that, and I do a cocktail recipe based on it.
Yeah. Well, and that's Steve McDonough always can be relied on for a good cocktail.
Yeah.
Do you have real quick before we go to a break? Do you have a quick little cocktail that you would love to recommend?
Yes, as a matter of fact, last night friends came over for dinner with cheesecake and this incredible sherry. So I decided that it is a sherry Christmas for all of us.
Aw, I like it.
Yeah, the warmth and the nuttiness, right? So a sherry cocktail with sherry and Benedictine, which gives us kind of that herbal spice, and maraschino liqueur, which gives us a little bit of a fruity, sugary flavor, and a drop of absinthe for that kind of licorice kind of to base the whole thing down together, and shaking that up in a cocktail with some ice and serving it straight up with a flamed orange peel called the sherry cocktail. Just all those kind of, just a lot of kind of herbs and spice flavors, perfect for the holidays.
Oh, I love it. And if the sherry cocktail is not up your does not float your boat, you can always pick up the New Old Bar Classic Cocktails and Salty Snacks from the Hardy Boys. I'm telling you, it is such a great cookbook. And if you're looking to host a fun party, a fun evening, you've got pairings of classic cocktails and delicious snacks through the whole thing.
Oh, fun.
And again, if you want inspiration, for your holiday meal, I think we need to let the Hardy Boys sit down. Because that's 2 years of weddings in 6 months.
Full stop.
Yeah. Period. With a T. It's great. So do that. But so go buy the book. It's a great gift for the holidays too. If you're if you're out you need some last minute gifts, go to your local bookstore. Support those independent bookstores. But go pick it up. It's so good. Go check it out. And oh my gosh, I'm so thankful that you all took the time out after your marathon of weddings. So thank you. Sit down, Dan Smith and Steve McDonough. I need you just to stay prone. Have your child go and make you food and just sit and don't do anything. And have a really wonderful holiday season and a happy New Year.
Thank you. You too. Both of you.
Well, thank you. Again, if you want to find out, you cannot find more delicious food, go to hardyboys.com. Don't do it until January. Let them sit down. Or go and get inspiration. But it's fabulous. And pick up their cookbooks are so good, so approachable, and so delicious.
Nice.
So make sure you check those out. Again, the Hardy Boys, Dan Smith and Steve McDonough, thank you so much for your yearly visit. I treasure it more than a visit from Santa. So there you are. See, you are both my full pints.
Thank you. He brought it around.
There you go.
And scene.
And scene. So happy New Year to Dan Smith and Steve McDonough, the Hardy Boys. We have to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's the final thrilling show-stopping moments of Out Chicago right here on WCPT.
Amy Goodman reports on the news stories rarely covered by the corporate media.
In Chile, security forces shot dead 2 indigenous Mapuche leaders during clashes in the province of Arauco. The southern coastal region has been under a state of emergency, with the Chilean government deploying 2,000 soldiers to the region as it attempts to suppress the Mapuche community in their fight to recover their ancestral lands.
Democracy Now!, weekday evenings at 11 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
I'm David Hochberg. It's Sunday, and you're constantly complaining about paying PMI on your FHA loan, but you've done nothing about it. If you took out a 30-year fixed loan after June of 2013 and your loan-to-value was greater than 90%, you will have PMI for the entire length of your loan. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners refinance out of their FHA loan to eliminate their PMI, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Also, financial legal housing lender, MLS 1124061.
A new season is the perfect time to change up your look. And luckily, 21 Days of Beauty is happening now at Ulta Beauty. Snag daily beauty steals of 50% off the must-haves from brands like IT Cosmetics and Benefit. And discover new gotta-have-it launches from brands like Jacqueline Cosmetics and Tula. Experience the thrill of finding new faves during beauty's biggest event. But hurry, this event ends September 18th. Shop in-store, online, or try curbside pickup today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
Terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Terms and conditions apply. Visit ISSA online for details.
Hey, how'd you like to get paid to work out? Yes, I said get paid to work out. Now you can with ISSA, the global leader in personal fitness certification. If you're interested in a money-making career in fitness as a personal trainer, now is your time, because ISSA is guaranteeing you will get a job. That's right, there's a huge demand for certified personal trainers right now. So once you get ISSA certified, they guarantee you'll get a job. Just text ACT to 323232 now to get started for free. You do everything at your own pace and 100% online. Live your life on your terms. Get certified and train like you want. Full-time, at a gym, at home, or as a side hustle. Whatever works for you. Don't wait another day to start your career in fitness. Get certified and start making money fast. Guaranteed. Just text ACT to 323232 right now to get started with your ISSA certification for free. Text the word ACT to 323232.
Welcome back. I'm Paul Oakley-Stovall. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Tanya Richard, as we celebrate our final show of 2021. We're taking the next couple of weeks off to spend with family and to just kind of recoup
and eat.
And definitely eat. So for the 26th and January 2nd, we are doing some extra special revisiting of 2021. We've got incredible guests that we're revisiting. Senator Mike Simmons, who's the first openly gay black man elected to the Illinois Senate. We're playing some of the stuff that he was chatting about.
Cool.
Like I said, so tune in and everything. And because it is it's the end of the year. We're in therapy right now, since we're, when Harry met rehab, we're kind of all like in recovery right now.
Yeah.
As we're looking back, it's always a time of reflection for me. I hate making resolutions because those are just ways to set up failure for yourself. So, Tanya, what did you learn in 2021? Like, what are some of the big moments that you're kind of like, oh, okay?
I have learned that I have so much to learn, and that I'm hungry to learn as much as I can. So, when I first sort of considered the question, I literally was going to be like, nothing. But that was going to be slightly to be funny. But,
right.
But I feel like I'm just so much in process. And for that reason, I think that's what I've learned, which is that it's really okay to be in process and to constantly be regenerating and relearning and resetting. And it's sort of a way of life for me. So I feel like maybe this year was the year that I really leaned into that.
Yeah.
How about you?
No, I kind of the same thing. I think there's a being open.
Yeah.
Just like of trying to have an openness.
Mm-hmm.
Like what you were. I've learned things today. Just
right?
in our conversation that we've had during this show.
Yeah.
Just I think just constantly being aware of other people's experiences.
Yes.
And being aware of not only like of our similarities, but of trying to gain a deeper understanding of our differences.
I think that it's one of the greatest gifts.
By differences, I mean different experiences.
Exactly.
Not ideologically or whatever. I'm just talking about
lived experience.
Yeah, like my lived experience is very different from yours, even though we're very similar.
Exactly.
That whole thing. So I think that's kind of my eyes have been. That's one of the big takeaways. It's like, all right, so take a step back. Even in things that I think that I know.
Exactly.
Especially things that I think that I know. And it's always nice to have a great reminder.
Right. And it's just kind of coming from that place. So like circling back to something like West Side Story, like I want to just like, I think it's also living with nuance and living with complicated things, right? So that complication of how much I loved it, and then also weighing the other aspects that we talked about, West Side Story.
Yeah.
It's like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have to have a perfect bow. It goes back to, when I come in and talk about diversity and equity and inclusion, that space of upset and interest and curiosity is the place you want to be to do the work of anti-racism and inclusion. So why not just bring it over to life as well?
Yeah, I think that we as a culture, I'm probably have to think, it seems like it's an American thing.
Yeah.
Going back to what it feels to be proud American.
Right.
That we want absolutes,
Right.
Yeah. This is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And to not be okay to live within that discomfort.
Right.
Right. And to be okay with the discomfort, and I'm not talking about like physical ailments or pain. You just be like, oh,
right, or not feeling safe. We're not talking about that.
No, we're just talking about like, oh, okay, I'm hearing other people, trying to process like what that means for me. What can I do for them, or do they want anything from me to do? Just it's thinking about where this is, and just to be how I engage and move throughout the world, and that's kind of been a big thing for me.
Me too.
This year, what do you hope? Do you have hopes for?
I have no hope. No.
Well, no, don't say that, because we're planning on playing the inauguration speech. The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman, who just launched onto the national scene.
Like a comet, right?
Holy smokes. I mean, if you recall, I'll post a link to her poem and her performance at the inauguration of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris.
I can't believe that was almost. It's a little strange.
I know that it's only been a year. In some ways, this year has felt like it's been 8 years all rolled into one.
Right.
It also feels like it's been 3 days.
I know, it's very wild.
It's so strange.
But
going back to Amanda Gorman, The Hill We Climb, I think that is a great thing to listen to remind yourselves, like, this is where we've come to talk about, justice, to talk about the American experience and how the American experience is different for each person. And even though we all have many, many similarities, we all have different experiences, and then we need to celebrate those.
Yeah. And I think, and honestly, that's my it kind of circles into what my actual hope is, which is that people open themselves up and get curious and are willing to learn and then willing to change based on what they learn. Like, that's my hope. Because, like, without that formula, I'm not entirely sure how to move forward, you know, as a collective. So if in any way somebody just is willing to consider or reconsider something, that would go a long way, I think.
Yeah. I'm hoping to engage more. This is something that I learned from the pandemic.
Yeah.
2020 was hard for everybody. It was awful. You know, and, you know, I lost my mom. I feel like I've lost my brother to MAGA. It's very strange. And, you know, as a result, I got very good at numbing my pain.
Yeah.
Like, I got real good at drinking. I was real good at it. And I cut that out. You know, I was just like, whoa, this is things. You know, so stepping back, you know, just like, oh, you're too good at this, you know?
Right.
And it was a way, because I found myself that I'm in some bad habits because of the pandemic of, like, I don't want to leave my home.
Yeah.
I only want to be, like, around Jerry and, like, my immediate circles.
Yeah.
That's all I want. Like, I don't want to leave the house.
I know.
And I've found leaving the house is good. Leaving the house is good for you. Being active, like engaging in face-to-face interactions is very important and very, very good. And just being a part of your community.
Right.
In a meaningful and productive way is really important, not only just for the community itself, but just for your own well-being and for your own mental health.
Right. I don't think we're aware of maybe how it's affecting us, but I feel the same way in terms of, like, right now, I do know I need to engage more. And other than the thrill of you're asking me to do this and totally wanting to do it, I've begun to say yes to things because it gets me out of my home because I'm very comfortable there.
Yeah.
You know, and part of me is like, well, is that a bad thing? Or, you know, but it's that conversation with yourself. Like, are you hiding? You know, just checking in. Like, are you hiding and protecting? And where can you benefit from pushing yourself to re-engage? And those times that I have, it has totally paid off. So letting that continue.
Yeah. And when I'm talking about engaging, I'm not even just talking about, like, you don't have to necessarily go change the world, you know, in terms of, like, volunteering, blah, blah, blah. But, like, there are great moments to volunteer but just to, like, say hello to your neighbor. Just to engage within, you know, find a job, like a part-time job, or do something, volunteer.
Open up the periphery
and just kind of do that. And what I hope for myself and for all of you out there for 2022 is that you are engaged. You are aware, and as Eleanor Roosevelt said, do one thing a day that frightens you. One thing a day, and that could just be considering something different. You know, just looking at the world through a different lens. So that is my wish for you this holiday season and for the new year. And that is actually going to do it for us today on Out Chicago. I want to thank all of our guests, our incredible guests. Melissa Gilbert, Dan Butler.
Oh my gosh.
The Hardy Boys.
That was like an arc of, you know, humanity.
Yeah, the Hardy Boys, Steve McDonough and Dan Smith. Love that. Devin, thank you so much for all that you do all the time. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Paul, thank you so much for all that you do. As mediocrity as you do it. You know? Just had to get one dig. I know it's always wrong. Tanya Richard, thank you so much for the 200 years of friendship. Thank you for joining us today here in studio. Always a pleasure to see your face.
Same.
I want you to have a wonderful holiday season. Hug your family. Keep them close.
Same.
Especially that sunroof. Oh, dear Lord.
And scene.
And I am Scott Duff. And until next time, stay proud.
Amy Goodman reports on the news stories rarely covered by the